Yeah, guys, and my excuse to having a reason for why it took me so long to do this video or talk about this subject is a very good one. Don't worry, it really is a perfectly good one. Hello guys, welcome, or if you've already seen my channel before, welcome back. I am the Philadelphia Whovian, and yes, my apologies, once again, filming at night, but I have a very difficult work schedule. So guys, when it comes to this time of the year, I'm busy a lot doing happy holiday stuff. So for those of you guys who don't see any of my videos later on this week, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, happy whatever you do or do not celebrate. But as you saw with the title of this video, it's oriented around the comments made by the Fifth Doctor, played by Peter Davison, so Peter Davison's reactions and comments on the idea of the Doctor being a female. And on the reaction he got back to that was absolutely uncalled for and insanely unprofessional and also hypocritical of the crowd that was objecting to him. So, those of you guys who have no context of what I'm talking about, Peter Davison is the actor who plays the Fifth Doctor of Doctor Who, and when it came to the idea of the Doctor being a female, Peter Davison gave very polite, very well-reasoned, well-phrased, non-offensive reasons for why he thought the Doctor should remain a man, and it did not make sense, or it was not, there was no, reason why it should be a female, or just it was best if it was a male. Sorry if I phrased that very incorrectly. It's hard to find the right phrasing for things sometimes when it comes to subject matter like this. Yes, but a little over a year ago, he made comments about how he did not think it was necessary for the Doctor to be a woman. And he's not the only star of Doctor Who to make this claim that it made no sense for the Doctor to be a woman. There was a female, there was an actress who had a problem with it, not problem, just did not think it was necessary for, and objectively speaking, his and her reasons made perfect sense. But what happened? Well, the reaction, of course, back to Peter Davison from the politically correct SJW world, who's all about peace and equality, not peace, but all about equality and respecting, the opinions of women, was to lash back to the point where Peter Davison literally left Twitter all for good. I do not know if he's back. I never go on Twitter. But he left Twitter at the time due to all of the bullying and the harsh remarks he got back from people who were disgusted at his views. Why is it taking me over a year to talk about this? Because, guys, very honest with you, I did not know about this for a long time. And the first time I even heard about it was a couple months ago when I did my video on Fraser Hines' reactions to Rosa, where his comments about Rosa, while he wasn't just that into it, his reactions were perfectly fine and they made sense. And that was in reaction. I only did that video in reaction to some fans objecting to his comments. And I said, hey, no, his comments are perfectly fine. And some people didn't know why I was making a video on that because they didn't know that there were some fans who objected to Fraser Hines. But I just want to, kick that in the butt very quickly, because there were people who complained. I just wanted to nip that in the butt very quickly, that his comments were fine. And then someone mentioned about how this is like Peter Davison's comments about objecting to the 13th Doctor's casting being a woman, and how he was literally attacked, so much verbally attacked, he had to leave Twitter. That was the first time I heard about it. The very first time. I had no idea at the time it was happening that this had ever occurred. It wasn't until months later, that I found out about it. At that point I said, oh, daggone, I wish I had known about this before. I would have said something. Peter, I'm sorry. I would have said something, but I just did not know about it. I swear. And when I did find about it, it was so late after finding out, I said, well, there's nothing I can do. It's months after the situations happened. It's already over, etc. and so forth. And then I realized something very recently. It's not over. It's not. Objectively speaking, it's not over. Because the comments still happened, or the situation still happened. Okay. First of all, Peter. Those people who have never seen my channel before, I said it before, I'll say it again, those people who like the idea of the 13th Doctor being a woman and are perfectly happy with Jodie Whittaker's casting, good for you, that's how you feel, nothing is wrong with you. I admit I found the idea of the 13th Doctor being a female completely unnecessary. I thought it did nothing for women's lib whatsoever. I even thought it was regressive for women's lib, because the idea of you need a man into given a sex change into a female character, to me, is not nearly as powerful as the idea of all the many strong females we've had in the show up to this point who were incredible, but the fandom was not parts of the fandom. There were some fans who are very respectful of the women in Doctor Who, but a lot of companions were written off as being stupid or incongruous or just downright, unnecessary, or a lot of their bravery and their awesomeness was downplayed in the excuse of women's suffrage, women's rights. So I had women, female characters being belittled or degraded under the excuse of women's empowerment, female empowerment. So I just saw the hypocrisy of that situation so many times. I didn't care for the idea of the Doctor being a woman, because it shows just how far we've fallen in the sense of respecting women, that the only way you feel a woman is awesome, or that you feel like you fully allowed women to be fully equal in the world, is if it was a man first who was transformed into a female character. But I have many other reasons why. That's just one of my many reasons. I just thought it did nothing. Ultimately, doesn't really do anything for women's lib. In fact, it just kind of knocks us down a bit. But people just don't notice because it's not their perspective. Yes. So when I read Peter Davison's comments that I finally did see, I said, oh, he very respectfully just did not agree, just had his own feelings about the Doctor being a male, which makes perfect sense because the Doctor is, in all essentials, a male character. It made perfect sense. And again, he gave his opinion very respectfully. It was not offensive to females. And I know for a fact that Peter Davison had respect for female companions. I've always loved Nyssa, and I always respected Peter Davison's comments on the character of Nyssa and how he loved Sarah Sutton. So clearly he respects women. It's just the idea of, he just thought the Doctor, which is in all essentials a male character, ought to stay male. Makes perfect sense. And again, if you like the Doctor being a female, that's fine. I admit I did not see why it was necessary, but that's you, it's okay. But when Peter Davison, when the comments were lashback where people literally were up in arms about Peter Davison's opinion that he respectfully gave and denounced it as rubbish or just nonsense, and then also not only belittled it, but verbally, like literally, when they're writing in Twitter, attacked him. This is showing the true horror of the SJW PC crowd, because it shows the hypocrisy of their own standpoint. They're all about equality, all about empowerment. But if your empowerment, you are buying that empowerment for yourself at the disempowerment of another person's voice who respectfully gave their opinion on something that was opposite to yours, and you could not respectfully give it back. You cannot say, okay, I disagree, but I respect your opinion, it's okay, but you attack them back. You, not only are you no better than all of the bigots, all of the just downright idiots in the world, but you just took that cause, all the causes you claim to support, all the things that people in the civil rights movement, that people of color or white people in the civil rights movement who marched and fought against, all the women who marched for suffrage, all of the people of homosexual nature, lesbians or gay, who've marched for their rights to have a voice. You, in the name of supporting all those people, you just completely contradicted everything they stood for. Because you became the very thing that they were fighting against, the very thing that they were marching against. The idea of suppressing another person's voice all because they disagree with you, or their lifestyle, or their idea, their concept is not in accordance with yours. Now, if Peter Davison had said comments in a way that was just completely offensive to us women, or was just downright nasty, then I would have got why you were upset. But he didn't. He respectfully stated his opinions. It made perfect sense from his standpoint. It was not offending anyone. But then you, If you came in and attacked Peter Davison, you are no better than all of the bigots, all of the intolerant, racially or some sexual orientation or gender, the intolerant people in the past who led to the inequality of minorities, of females, or of people of, homosexual background. All the people who have, because they were different than society wanted them to be, had to literally fight for equal rights. Look at what you've done. You, in the name of those people, forgot everything they fought for because you became the opposite of everything they stood for. In your own way, you just don't know it. Showing how in the name of incredible ideals, we humans will use ideals, will use these great concepts to be truly horrible. And will twist the ideal that we were using that was so beautiful at some point. This is not a good thing. It turns the ideal into the ugly. This is not good. But it also shows something that's even more horrible. Okay, I did not speak about it because I did not know about it at the time. But when it comes to the people... Alright, tell me something, guys. When it comes to after Peter Davison's comments, unfortunately it was so late after I discovered about it that I couldn't find any documentation on BBC or anyone when it comes to that industry reaction to it very well. When Peter Davison gave these comments, did the BBC or did people working on Doctor Who actively defend him at the time, like, Chibnall, the execs, the producers, etc. and so forth, all these people, and even Jodie Whittaker, did they defend Peter? Were there people who stood in Peter's corner and defended him? And try to say, hey, guys, thank you so much for supporting our Doctor, but you can't, in the name of the 13th Doctor, behave this way. If you guys have evidence saying they did do that, they defended Peter, awesome. I, unfortunately, do not have, at this point, I could not find anything about that. If nobody, when it came to the new regime that's heading up Doctor Who, if people knew about how Peter was being treated and nobody defended him, this is hinting at something even worse. So we've already talked about the hypocrisy of the SJW world. It's all about equality and about empowerment, but at the expense of disempowering the voices of other people who disagree with them. Alright, so we already talked about that thing, but here comes another horror. If there were people up at the BBC or up who were working on Doctor Who knew about how Peter Davison was treated and they did not do anything, again, if they did not do anything, if they did something, guys, tell me, but if people who knew about this, who had power to influence the fan base or speak out against it, if they did not defend Peter, here's what this augments. It goes back to something that happened in the movie called The Boondock Saints. Did anybody see the movie The Boondock Saints? If you didn't, it's a great movie. If you like action, I'd recommend it. But in The Boondock Saints, there was a priest who was talking about crime committed against a female and how nobody helped that female after she was completely, abused by her assailants. And he said, okay, now we must always fear bad men, but there is another evil we must fear the most, the indifference of good men. Where you saw something bad happening, you could have done something to stop it, or come in and solve the problem, but you didn't. You let it keep happening. So, there's nothing, yes, the people who were vicious to Peter Davison, that was bad, but if there were people who, in that industry, and in that situation, could have defended Peter but did not, this augments something even worse about the people who are running Doctor Who now, is if you stood back and you let this happen and keep happening, you're showing the indifference of supposedly good people, where in the name of you let something bad happen to somebody else. This ruins the entire, everything we've been fighting for when it comes to empowerment in this world. It does. So in the name of a politically correct cause or the movement, the woke initiative, you have brought something forward. Everything the initial woke initiative fought against. But now it's in you. And this is bad. If that's the case, again, if people defended Peter on the new Doctor Who regime, again, in the new era that we're in of Series 11, Series 12, etc., that whole team, if they defended him, just let me know in the comment section, tell me what they said. But if no one really defended Peter, it's just showing something worse about what we are considering empowerment nowadays. So Peter, I did not know. Again, I swear I did not know that this happened to you, Peter Davison. And at first when I found out a couple months ago or 3 months ago, I was like, it's too late, there's nothing I can do. But ever since then, it's been eating away at me that maybe it's never too late. So Peter, if you still have these feelings where you are a little antsy or you're a little, where you have a problem that you still wish the doctor was a male, I'm happy you have stuck to that cause. I'm happy. No, you're not wrong. Peter, listen to me. You're not wrong. You are not a bad person, Peter Davison. You are a perfectly good man who stated your points very well in a world that's intolerant to people who disagree with them. You did. But if you in some way, shape, or form, you have altered your opinion, if you altered it because you feel like you've had a change of heart, because you feel it internally, that's more power to you. But if you've changed your mind and you've given in because you felt like all the people who were attacking you, they intimidated you, no. Commit to your purpose. You are not wrong. And let me tell you something. Okay, as an 11th Doctor fangirl, a Martha Jones fangirl, and a Clara Oswald fangirl, I've had hate coming my way since I began watching Doctor Who. I have been attacked in every way you could be attacked. Peter, it's just words. They can't hurt you. They can't get to you. And in fact, use it to strengthen yourself. Because here's the thing. Those people who attack us, there's one thing they do. They make us so strong in their efforts to frighten us, they give us nothing to be frightened of anymore. Don't be scared. I doubt you are scared. I think you, Peter Davison, you're a strong guy. You are. You're a strong man who's very confident with who you are, so I think you can take the world disagreeing with you sometimes, and you can still stick to who you are. But if you haven't, if I'm wrong and you haven't, Peter, you were not wrong. Your perspective is your own. Stand for your own. In the words of a character from Henry V, stand for your own. And also, Peter, you're a great guy, and there are things about your doctor that I've always loved, and I thought you did a good job as the doctor. Whether some people agree or not, I think you did. And the only thing I can give you in this festive time of the year is, when I first began to get into Classic Who, I ordered a DVD from each of the doctors, from the 2nd Doctor to the 7th Doctor. Your DVD of one of your stories was the first one to arrive in the mail. You were the very first Classic Doctor I saw the full episode of, and I fell in love with Classic Doctor Who, and you were one of the main things that helped me. You were the first face, Classic Doctor Who face, that this face ever saw. And I got into Doctor Who, and you helped me, and I owe that to you. So, if my opinion means anything, I know you're not going to ever see this video, but if off chance you do, you mean something to this fan. You will always mean something to this fan, and whether we agree or not on anything, I will always respect you and admire the work you did for Doctor Who, and I will always be proud of you, if that counts for anything at all. And I'm very happy I got into Classic Doctor Who, and thank you for helping me get there. So, this is my video, and guys, if you disagree with me, anyone in the comment section, you can disagree with me, just please respect me as you disagree, as I will respect you when I disagree with you. And Peter Davison, you are, I think I admire many of the actors who play the Doctor, and you're one of those. So, whenever you celebrate Merry Christmas, or Happy Holidays, or whatever you do not celebrate, enjoy this festive time of the year. Just remember, halfway out of the darkness, or halfway out of the terror, and into the light we go. Everyone, see you soon once more. Bye, guys.